Now, I briefly mentioned this in the end of another video and upset people because that's what I do. But I just wanted to clarify a point on that, which was that I'm not saying that this is inherently a bad aircraft. It was a very good aircraft for the job. Well, it wasn't without its flaws, but it was a good aircraft for the job it was designed to do. And even then, when it did jobs that it wasn't designed to do, it was still pretty successful. But the point I was trying to make was that, like with things like the ME-262 and with the Messerschmitt to an extent, and with various aircraft over time, sometimes politics gets in the way of practicality. And the fact is, there was a lot of inertia to British politics and bureaucracy, and they'd come up with a specification of what they wanted. They thought that German bombers would fly in unescorted, and that they needed a interceptor type aircraft that could fly up, catch up to them, and shoot them down from a distance. So big turret on the back to shoot at the bomber, and interceptor type aircraft to try and catch them and get into that position. And initially it did have some success, but the problem was the Germans took over France, which meant that Messerschmitts and so on could take off from fields in France, escort their bombers and get into it, and this thing couldn't cope with that. So instead of very quickly adapting early on and saying, maybe we should look at the situation, what happens if the Germans have airfields in France? We should have more of, Hurricanes, Spitfires, that kind of thing. No, they just kind of plodded on and went, no, we've asked for this, so we're going to have this, and we're going to make it do its job as intended until literally we run out of people who can fly them because they're all, passed away. And also on top of that, there were tactics that were developed for this that then didn't get used again because of that kind of stubbornness, I think, that you sometimes get with British aircraft design and British politics and, let's say, the administration level decisions that go on. But in general, I don't hate this aircraft, the Boulton Paul Defiant. There is a deeper dive where I go into a lot of detail on it on my TikTok channel. You can feel free to search for it, so I'm not going to go into a deep dive on it now. There is no YouTube to go with this one, not particularly. But yeah, Boulton Paul Defiant, it's a great aeroplane, and I think I just wanted to address that I don't dislike it as an aircraft, I just think it suffered from political mishandling.